What's the best way to weaken your enemy? Humans have a specific nature in them. All of nature does, rather. The nature of sociality and communication between groups. The nature of compassion and love. These things create the basic structures of the animal kingdom and species as a whole. When looking at a heart monitor, you, of course, see the beats of the heart. You also see a pause between those beats. These are the emotions. Love, for example, a smoother and curved line between those beats. Anger, however, sharp and drastic. Those positive emotions are better for your heart's health. Contrasted to popular belief, your heart is more of the center of yourself than your brain is. Your heart sends more information to your brain than your brain to your heart. Your heart is powerful. It can even affect the environment around you. But if your mind and emotions cloud up your heart, you lose what it is to live. I think we know a certain analytical boy who needs to learn that. So, what's the best way to weaken your enemy? Animals and nature is a very social thing. They built everything they know on sociality, though humans tend to take it the wrong way. Darwin's theory of natural selection. The strong survive, the weak die. In the story of science, humans are led to believe that it is built inside humans to be competitive, to be the best. But the reality is this: cooperation is just as, if not more, important. We are led to believe that there is an alpha that we bow down to because of that Darwin theory. Humans are led to believe that this is justification of hierarchy, justification for a way of government. However, he had more to contradict this theory as well. In Darwin's book, Descent of Man, he raises the point that humans are not fast. They don't have prime muscle mass, they don't have fangs, they don't have claws, they don't have anything that you imagine a competitor or prime predator to have. But what they do have is cooperation, the ability to take care of others, the ability to communicate in marvelous and mysterious ways, rightfully so. So why do humans see themselves only as competition to one another? In actuality, Darwin never originally said it was survival of the fittest, but rather the human philosopher Herbert Spencer. Spencer was the one who convinced Darwin to adopt that phrasing, and people had taken this one aspect of theory and ran with it to justify the beliefs and claims on brittle twigs, to justify it with something that didn't mean what they had thought. So, what's the best way to weaken your enemy? You see, humans, they're built on connections. Unbreakable bonds between them make or break them. I plan to break them, to tear them apart, to destroy and lash the fleshy and fatty reality, to crumble their minds. They need it. They need to learn. They need to learn. What exactly is my plan? Wouldn't you love to know? They need to learn what monsters they can make, to learn what I can make, to learn what I can do. You see, unlike you brittle humans, I am something of a much more self-sustained kind. My mind doesn't need connections, we don't need your relationships, we don't need love. Why? Well, we are made from anger, separation. We are made from the petty separations of those connections between humans. However, we normally stay hidden in the recessions of your mind, hidden in those dark corners of your guilt, those monsters you see in the dark, those things that stare into your soul when you humans are paralyzed and screaming for help, begging and pleading for someone to save you, and having to look at our monstrous and grotesque faces. We are your demons. I am a special breed, however, a breed of which has escaped. I've escaped the shackles of the mind. I am the ghost, I am the psyche of that Mysterion. Once he was broken from that blonde brat who had called himself a scientist. I'd escaped his veins and into the dark corner of that lair. Once that scientist was alone, I wanted to test a theory of my own. I choked him. I picked him up by one hand and squeezed so tightly I wanted and expected to see his eyeballs pop. As I had done this, I looked into him as well. After all, he was part of my birth. He had conflicting emotions, that one. I sensed love in his heart, secret kindness and compassion masked in trauma, anxiety, and depression. He thought he was justified. He thought he was smart. He thought his actions were just. Wrong. 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 I had soon grown bored. He struggled and whined too much. I threw him down and escaped. I bled through those damned metal walls and rose to the surface, finding myself in this stupid town. The travel out of that stupid body had its consequences. I'd lost most of that masked vigilante's memories. So, of course, I just needed to get them back, to suck him dry. I must say, he did put up quite the fight, but not enough of one. I've got information on his closest connections, or at least enough to put them together. A little girl, and that faceless boy, Leopold. I know what I must do. And I need one thing. That little girl.